There's an echo.
Okay, I think I'll fix that. It's okay. Uh, you can just reduce the volume from one of the other device, then the other one can be up. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
The other device that is currently muted, you can reduce the volume from on it. Let's see if I can do it from here.
I should decrease the volume for myself.
Yeah, you have two devices. So one device, currently the one you are speaking from is okay. For the other one, just try to reduce the volume. Or when you go to the audio aspect, you see leave computer audio.
Okay, I'm coming.
On the other one that is muted, there is one device that is muted. So the one that is muted, that's the one you should do it on.
Okay.
Yeah, to the audio, the microphone sound, there is a little indicator there. When you click on it, you see all of the options. Just go way down, you see leave.
Okay, I see all the audio options. So which one I should select? So I'm seeing leave computer audio.
Yeah, click on that one. Click on that one. All right, you can try to speak. Let's know if we get any feedback. I think you do it on the other side. So while you left the computer audio, maybe flip it and do it on the other device, because it's like the one you just did it to, that's the one the voice are coming from. So just click back on the audio sound and it should be activated again. Then you can go and do it to the other device.
Am I okay?
Yeah, now the voice coming from the other side. So what you did first, do it to the other device, leave audio from the other device.
Okay. I'm seeing leave computer audio. I'm seeing switch to full audio.
Yeah, leave computer audio, leave computer audio.
Okay.
And then you can try to speak. Let's see if we can hear you. Not hearing you. Are you using two phones or one phone and one computer? Still not hearing you, so I think you have to just turn it on and turn the other guy back. You can turn on the audio back from the other device. Still no sound. Let me request you to unmute. Okay, so we're working on that. Secretary, please share the agenda while we are working on that. Still no sound yet. Okay.
I've gone back to computer audio.
All right, so the one you are speaking from now, we're getting the sound. Is that a computer or a phone?
Computer.
All right. Then the other device is a phone too, or is a computer?
Okay, I should switch the full audio off, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm okay.
Yeah, a little bit. There's still a little echo. So what will happen is the same way you disable like the audio. There's a feature that is what either you go to the settings or to the same microphone sound. Let me check my phone and show you. Mm.
I get audio setting down. So I go to audio setting. What should I do?
When you go to the audio settings, you can disconnect.
So I think it's okay now because he spoke and we didn't hear any feedback.
Okay.
Am I okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but we're
Thank you.
still hearing noise.
Yeah,
Still,
still
it's still in the
hearing.
background. Still in the background.
You see
Sorry,
disconnect
I'm
audio
using
from the phone.
this. Huh?
From the phone, okay, let me see if I can do my screen. So from the phone down here, you see these three options. Go to, just click on this three dots, the more option.
In the phone, right?
Yeah, on the
Zoom
phone.
app in the phone.
Yeah, on the phone. Then you will see,
Am I okay?
you disconnected the audio. Don't reduce the volume, just disconnect the audio. There is an option here for disconnect audio.
So for the phone, I should put a use phone audio as you no audio on the phone.
Yeah, no audio on the phone. Since that the computer you're using to speak, then the phone, you can disconnect the audio.
Okay. But for the phone, am I okay now?
Yeah, we can hear the sound, but there's still a little feedback. So
meaning I can leave the meeting from my phone now and just leave it on the computer, right?
yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, just disconnect from the phone.
It's okay now?
No, the phone still connected. The two devices still on. Like just
Because I'm using the phone as my hotspot. Our Wi-Fi in the office now is that what is down from
yeah, but just close the
Friday.
Zoom. Just close the Zoom app on the phone.
Okay.
The hotspot will still be on. Just close the.
It's closed down now, but I don't know why. It's if I stay.
Okay, I think I'll just do it from here. It's okay. I'll just remove you from here. All right, try to speak, please. I think it's okay. It's okay now.
Yeah, I think it's much better now than before.
Yeah, the other device is not there again, so we can start.
Okay.
All right, Honorable SG, you can go ahead and you are muted, Honorable Wishing. Okay, you can go ahead now.
Okay, so good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone, depending on where you are joining this meeting from. This is the Legacy Hour, and as before, we have had several editions with a lot of great veterans that have served this union and put in their work to make this union to where it is right now. And this series is the 10th edition. And today we are opportune to getting our Miss Honorable Alan B. James, who served this union before. Without further ado, by way of introduction, I'm Jenkins G. Wilson, and I'm the National Deputy Secretary General. So we will just go straight into business because time is not in our favor. So I will now call this meeting to order, and we'll have the reading of the meeting agenda, opening prayer, welcome statement, business discussion, on which we have introduction of the guest speaker. We have the message from the guest speaker. We have interactive session, that's the Q&A, and we have remarks. So after the reading of the agenda, we'll go to opening prayer that will be done by the National Chaplain General, Honorable Michelle Fampe. Honorable Michelle, if you are there, you can unmute your mic and the floor is yours. Hello, am I being heard?
Let us pray.
Okay.
Our Lord and our God, we say thank you for yet another time to be here as we pour forth this initiative of honoring our past, but having all of our leaders that have dedicated the time, their resources to serve in this union which we now serve. We pray for the spirit of utterance as the speaker will be sharing. We pray for scholars that are on their way to join. Holy Spirit may remind them. We pray for every leaders. We pray for our nation, Liberia. We pray for LATS and every other members. Into your hands we commit this program. Take absolute control, now and forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Honorable National President, for our honor of prayer. Next, we have a welcome statement, and that will be done by the National Vice President, Honorable Ukraine Empowerment.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Am I clear enough?
Yes, Jala.
Okay. So let me say good evening to LSUIC. And for those who are following the program via Facebook, I don't know what time of the day you are in right now, but I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you. And I'd also like to welcome you to our Legacy Hour 10.0. We've had like over 10 different series or 10 different episodes, which is really amazing. And as usual, this series is about honoring our past and engaging in our present and also inspiring our future. And today we are so glad to have been joined by President Emeritus Alan B. James. It's my first time seeing him today. I've heard about this name on so many occasions. People have a lot to say about him, but I'm glad to at least sit down to hear some of the things that he did during his time of service to LSUIC. So again, let us patiently learn about the past so that we can understand how far we've come as an organization. Because 20 years it's a lot of years, and there are people who contributed to one of the reasons why we are still forging ahead. And we, as the current leaders, we're also playing our parts so that those who are going to come after us can also have something to work with. So that being said, welcome. And if you have questions, as the moderator said, there will be time for Q&A, so you can ask your questions. If there are clarity that you need, you can also ask so that the clarity are provided so that we can leave this platform with the knowledge that we need as well. Yeah. Thank you again and welcome everybody.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Next, we have the business discussion, on which we have the introduction of guest speaker that will be done by the Honorable Man, the National President of this great union, Honorable Ulan Diablo. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable National Deputy Secretary General, Jenkins G. Wilson. And it's good seeing our President Emeritus, Honorable James, who served us in 2017, 2018, the same year that go to China. And immediately when I came, hesitated not but to join the union the same year. But by the time, it was already after the elections in July, and I came in September of 2017. But then we were around to observe his time and his service to the union. And at a certain point in time, you know, I wanted to ask for his more like not like a profile, but his achievement to the union. But I was following the last group the other day, and he just made the job easier for us, and he outlined most of the key achievements. So I'm going to use that as something that, you know, so that you can get to know him. And he said in that write-up, his leadership was the first in LSUIC to provide financial aid to non-deserving non-bilateral students with 1,005 RMB per student when he was serving here in China. And though he did it for 9, but his intention or the leadership intention was about 15 students. But due to financial constraint, because if you do the mathematics, that should be around 22,500. But he was able to do at least for 9 persons. And secondly, his leadership was also the first to host a successful mini conference in February of 2018 in Beijing. And also, they were proactive as well as working closely with the embassy when there was a situation on some Liberians that was scammed, about 8 of them. And there was a situation where they could have been deported, but to the intervention of his leadership and that of the embassy, the student families were able to send their air ticket and to have them go home without going through all the strenuous processes. More to that, he first hosted the mini soccer tournament, the Ambassador Cup, and winners were also given out cash prize and medals and trophies at the end of the tournament. Also, his leadership also arranged the 40-feet containers and also another 20-feet containers for the 2018 graduates that were going home so that the teams could be shipped to Liberia. And all of the items were successfully sent without any of them missing. He then moved on to establish the LSUIC first academic and intellectual committee that was helping students with research, theses, and dissertation. He also initiated a policy that any coordinator that missed the executive council meeting 5 times would not be given LSUIC traditional service to students award. And he felt like, because prior to that, people were just giving awards and certificates, even though they are not working. And this is something that is, you know, is amazing to me, because it's something that I would do. If you don't work, you will not eat. So rest assured, Honorable President Emeritus, that this legacy of yours will be followed to the core this coming July. All the coordinators and city president that's not working, they will not be appreciated. He also did some orientation for new students in various cities, you know, that came to China at the time. And then his leadership was also engaging with, have a good working relationship with that of stakeholders like LATS, which is not part of the Ministry of Education, the National Legislature, especially the House Committee on Education, and the Liberian community here in China, as well as the embassy. And then he also set up a Peace and Reconciliatory Committee that's headed by one of our veterans that intervened in the situation with Beijing at the time. And interestingly, his vice president was from that region, Honorable Philmo Wegbe, who's also served as the president. And that situation created a tension prior to the resolution. There was a tension there in which people of Beijing was, or the Beijing Union was more of like getting away from LSUIC. And more to that, I think he had a little bit of tough time with his vice president on the working relationship aspect. And with that being said, I think President, I just gave him all your thing. I don't think I'm going to talk again. But he also, his leadership after that was also audited by the leadership of Honorable Charles Bully. And more to that as well, he was serving, he also visited other cities like that of Beijing, Hangzhou, Nanjing, Xuzhou, and other cities where Liberian students were. And he was successful in hosting the conference and also accomplished other constitutional requirements that he promised to the people in Wuhan 2017. So on this note, I will stop here and turn over the floor to our President Emeritus to now probably go in depth to what I just said. And Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. President, and the Court of Officers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me say my heartfelt thanks to you guys for the invite. By the matter of fact, I was invited among the several presidents that served in UNIPROUD to this administration to come and address this particular forum. It's an opportunity for me that, of course, I cannot just miss, which I intend to at least to get into some of the challenges, the achievement, which you, of course, you highlighted most of them, and also our own vision for our most cherished LSUIC. So let me say thanks very kindly. Briefly about me, as you're aware, as you may be already know me, I'm Alan B. I served the LSUIC from 2017 to 2018. I graduated from the Graduate School of Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences in Beijing, where I did a master's in agriculture, specifically crop cultivation and farming system. And since I came, I worked with a lot of international NGOs, both public and private international NGOs, and where I served in various capacities, project coordinator, technical lead, agronomist, a tree crop officer, and what have you. So with that, I think I'll give some little background of who I am. I'm also married with kids, and I think so far so good. That's just a gist about me. With respect to what I'm here for today, as you guys are aware, when it comes to leadership, it marks by so many challenges, at times controversy, and achievements, and other activities are sometimes, mark your own administration. And on our administration, my administration led the Liberian Students Union during a period of growing Liberian Students Union across multiple Chinese provinces. The union served as a central body for the student welfare, cultural representation, and coordination with the Embassy of Liberia in China. At the same time, China-Liberia relations were strengthening, creating more academic opportunities, but also increasing expectations for student organization, discipline, and representation as well. And with all of these comments, we had some serious challenges like any other human institutions or leadership and other things. The most thing I would just highlight few of the major challenges that I encounter under my administration as a president of LSUIC. The nature of the challenges we had, communication gaps. There was serious gap in communication, I must admit. And when I'm talking about communication gaps, coordinated students dispersed across many cities and universities with limited central communication tool was a serious hurdle for us in ensuring that we had effective communication. So because of these lapses, there was some communication gap reaching to every student in China, especially what we at times when we call for general meeting, everybody is there sometimes. And we call because of one of the reasons why I introduced a particular policy that if any coordinator miss 5 executive meetings, you will not be given any reward. Because for information, your absence in the meeting will not disseminate information to the students. Your presence in the meeting will help to enhance our communication mechanism. Because of some absence of some coordinators between the meeting, were not able to effectively disseminate the message of the union to also reach out to other students that have to be involved, to have inclusively involved into the runnings and the workings of the union. Besides, we also have financial constraints as one of our challenges. Limited funding to support the union activities, emergency assistance, etc. Was a serious challenge. Was one of the serious challenges that we encounter on our administration as LSUIC president. The issue about student welfare was a serious problem in addressing academic, legal, and health-related concerns of students in a foreign country. Was a serious challenge that we also encounter on our administration. Because this thing about legal issues, sometimes the students they fall into problem, to get to them, we don't have the legal fees to even hire the legal to hire people to have legal representation, and also the embassy alone to even get the embassy to get involved was a serious challenge for us in fully meeting students' welfare during our administration. The issue about cultural and language barriers was a serious hurdle for us as well. Helping students to adapt to Chinese academic and social environments. Sometimes some people are quick to adapt, some people are slow in adapting, because of this slow gaps in cultural and language adaptation also affect students' own learning process. So all these things was issues that caused some of the challenges that we have on our administration. Besides, the issue of crisis response capacity was a serious challenge for us also as well. Where handling emergencies, like for instance, fixed scholarship scheme, during our administration, there was a serious problem of fixed scholarship. A lot of fixed scholarship were in Liberia. Oh, if you do this, you go to China, you come there, you get a job. And when the students get to China, you meet up with different reality. And all of this is when it happens, it all went down on the leadership. And during our time, we were very overwhelmed, and compounded with a lot of fixed scholarships in Liberia. So at the time, it was not an easy thing to ensure that we had limited capacity, because we don't have funders, we don't have cash to handle these things, to disseminate the information, down in Liberia. Purple was a serious challenge for us. So we were able to work with other people where the information concerning, carrying on awareness that you had to be cautious, you got to use the proper mechanism, use the proper channel to get to China, so that at least when you get here, the Chinese society, unlike other Western, other free society, so to speak, unlike that. So if you come here, if you don't come the proper way to get here, if you stranded, it will be a tough thing for you, and you have to put it, that will be a wrong record for you, it will affect you in the future. So we don't want to do that. So the issue about our response capacity was a serious challenge that we also have. So I just decided to just give you just few those things. We have a lot of challenges, but because of time, I'll just give summary of this. So far, so good. This is just a summary of our challenges. However, regardless of all of these challenges, yet the mission strides we achieved. I think so far concerning our achievement, the president already, highlighted our major achievements. So no need of me just going through that. So I must say thank you, President, at least for carrying on our other functions for me today. I will just flip on that to go to the other activities. So when it comes to the evolution of Liberia-China relations during my administration as president of LSUIC. During my tenure 2017-2018 as president of the Liberian Student Union in China, Liberia-China relations were in a phase of renewed diplomatic momentum and practical cooperation. As you may be aware, Liberia had a democratic transition in 2017, at which time was the president, where George Weah, former President George Weah, won election, and there was smooth democratic transition coming from Madam Salif to George Weah. So on our administration, we also have the relationship between China and Liberia had a re-engagement in political alignment. During this time, our concern, our fear at the time as student leader, we just took over. We only have 1 year, and with this kind of transition, we thought that it would disrupt the relationship between China and Liberia. And probably the new leadership that will come in will have different approach. Because for Madam Salif at the time, she reaffirmed the 2003 One China policy, which of course helped us a lot in China. So our concern was whether the incoming leadership will have still changed or will have different approach. But kudos at the time, he reaffirmed, he realigned, he re-engaged the Chinese government, and of course, which of course at the time the relations still did strengthen. In about 2017, ties between Liberia and China were firmly anchored in mutual political trust. The transition period around Liberia's 2017 elections did not disrupt relations. Instead, China signaled continuity and readiness to deepen engagement. Another one again, we also, the Liberia-China relations during our administration experienced expansion of development cooperations. The development cooperations between Liberia and China were enhanced, were flourished, were strengthened. They were not disrupted, where hospitals, roads, and other things was upgraded, hospitals were upgraded, was built, also road construction continued unabated, and other initiatives on that. And most importantly, when it comes to our core issue, where we're in China for education, what the evolution of Liberia-China relationship did for us at the time as students, especially that we're so eager to ensure that the issue of education will be core at the China-Liberia relation on the agenda of the China-Liberia education. So education and student diplomacy. This era saw a noticeable increase in Liberia student study in China through scholarships and bilateral agreements. As student union president, my role intersected with strengthening people-to-people ties. One of the issues today, we showed that it was strengthening people-to-people ties. We had a good working relationship with stakeholders. So for the reason, we strengthen people-to-people ties, Liberia and China ties. We also support cultural exchange and integration. We were also, most of the cultural exchanges and integration with the embassy, most of the time, were also involved with tips. We were also presented, also we are only part from the student perspective, and what would be our priority in terms of education and other things. Acting as formal, and besides, because of our role, we acted as informal ambassador of Liberia-China friendship. Especially from a perspective of student organization becoming a macro level diplomatic bridges, reinforcing soft power relations. So these were our role we played. This is our role that we play at a time when it comes to the evolution of Liberia-China relation. We also look at our trade and economic signals. There was good trade. Liberia and China had a very, on a better trade where things were good. Things coming from China, coming to Liberia, and also things coming from Liberia to China. Also enjoyed also a good level of multilateral engagement. Liberia participated in the China-Africa Cooperation, we call this the FOCAC. As you're aware, we always have FOCAC, around also have focus around September, always, 2018, we had a focus summit in China. So this was one of the issues, part of the bottom line from my perspective, my tenure coincided with a period where Liberia-China relations were stable, expanding, and increasingly people-centered, especially through education and youth engagement, making my leadership role part of a broader soft diplomacy framework strengthening bilateral ties. So, comrades, with respect to the evolution at the time was serving at the helm of LSUIC and our leadership as president. So that's what the condition and the issue about Liberia, the evolution of Liberia-China relations was very constituted in the frame until we turn over to the next leadership. Now, with all of these things comments, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are aware that there will always be a lesson learned as a leader. Yeah. So for this reason, with respect to lesson learned, negotiation, and crisis management, with respect to lesson learned, we learn a lot of lessons when it comes to representation that requires balance. As a student, leader, the issue of representation that requires balance is very key to one of the lessons that we learn. As a student leader, you serve two audiences, students and external stakeholders. I'm talking about LSU as a student leader. You serve two audiences, the students and also the external stakeholders. The external stakeholders as LSU as a president, talking about the embassy, talking about very universities where the students are at times. Some university administrations, at times, some of the police may have problems, in which of course when it gets to you have to get involved either through indirectly through the embassy to get to the administration or to create the embassy attention. Oh yes, our students at the university have a problem. And also some Chinese institutions. So this was one of the lessons that we learned how to work to have representation that requires balance between students and external stakeholders at the embassy, the Chinese institution, the relevant stakeholders in Liberia. So we also have a lesson learned when it comes to communication. It's everything. One of our administration will realize that communication is everything. And what do that mean by communication is everything? You have to be clear as leader. Your communication will be very clear. It shouldn't be ambiguous. It should be clear, succinct, frequent updates, prevent rumors, and build trust, especially in the diaspora where information gaps grow quickly. So these are some of the lessons that we learned also. Cultural intelligence is a power. Trust me, as LSUIC president, cultural intelligence is a power. Leading abroad means navigating both Liberian and Chinese norms, respecting local systems while preserving identity strengthens credibility. So the issue of cultural intelligence, you have to respect the people culture and ensure that over there your existence, so to speak, quote unquote your existence, and also ensuring that you acquire what you are there for. You have to respect the culture of China. So we have that as part of our lesson learned, in our capacity as presidents. Unity is intentional. One of the issues that we learned that unity is intentional. One of the lessons. Students come from different regions. Everybody in China today, you guys, people, I'm aware that Orlando did not know the SG, the SC2 did not know, probably did not know, Lafina, everybody, but because of your study now have connected you guys. So the issue about unity is a key issue, the key lesson that we learn as LSU as a person is very key. Most of the community that we are today that we get today in Liberia, professional police and other things and helping each other one way or the other, we never knew each other before. Well, LSU actually brought us together. They also understand that we are brothers, we are sisters, and besides that, when we came here, we decided to demonstrate our togetherness with China here in Liberia. We see each other. Anybody will see each other, we better now see the news, see the news. It's a very key thing. Also, unity is intentional. So, crisis leadership defines you as a leader. Say from visa issues to student emergencies, your calm, speed, and coordination matter more than the titles. So at times, the title is there, but leadership in crisis. As we go forward, I explain to you some of the crisis I encountered as a leader. It was not an easy thing. But in crisis is where you know leader. The kind of decision that you made, the quality of the decision. The kind of decision you made, the kind of direction that you show to your colleagues. How firm we are. Those are issues. Issues are part of the lessons that we learn. Transparency builds legitimacy. Transparency issues are part of the issue that we do. You got to be transparent in everything. Accountability. You got to be transparent to your colleagues so that they will know that they will trust you, and so that as a president, as a leader, where transparency is lacking, the honor man's so many things. You will not be effective. You will not get a result. You will not help in the core function of you as a leader, you will not achieve it. So we also observe that transparency is a very valuable thing. Delegate and empower. As president, you learn that if you delegate tasks, at times, if you delegate tasks, you have to make follow-ups. You have to make constant follow-ups, especially looking at the kind of leadership that you said, where you have most of your SU in different cities, sometimes the SU in different cities, the president, the vice president in different cities, everybody are in different cities. So the issue about delegating tasks, again, delegated, for instance, your vice president, if you in Nanjing as a president and your vice president is in Beijing, if you give the vice president a particular task, you got to make constant follow-up. You have to make constant follow-up to show that a particular task is executed and in a very respectful, in a way that it will be a very good legacy and help your own administration agenda. So we say a strong executive team multiplies impact. Don't centralize everything, develop others. As president, you observe as president, you can develop others. Don't hold everything. There will be some key issue. Trust your colleagues. Sometimes if you all look and say, oh, at times you do that. Still, you have some challenges in showing that a particular issue is achieved, but trust. The police give them tax, empower them, dedicate tax to them. You see, they may follow up. So these are some challenges. Lesson that we learned that delegating tax and empowerment police is a very key thing that we also learn how important it is. Adaptability is a survival. What do I mean? Policies, school rules, and students' needs change quickly abroad. Flexibility keeps a union relevant. As president, at times you got to be strong. You got to be flexible to a certain extent. These are some of the lessons that we learned. Service or status. Today, we say, okay, we observe that your lesson we learned that status as a president is not all to it, but service is what matters. So leadership is not prestige, it's responsibility. The role exists to solve problems and uplift others. So a very key thing in respect to this was some of the lessons learned during our administration of president. Well, with respect to negotiation and process management, we also have our own skills that we exercise, that we executed, that also help our administration to give us the kind of achievement to be able also achieve the kind of achievement that we achieved to do now. The presidents that just highlighted. We had a good working relationship with all LSUIC stakeholders, like I said initially. LACS, the Liberian Students Scholars Association, at the time we have Clifton as a president for LACS president here. MOE, one of the key stakeholders that we have a very good working relationship with based on our lobbyistic and also negotiation power. We were able to have synergies between all our partners, all our stakeholders, where we had a very good working relation, and it helped us a lot in ensuring that our bilateral students get their money on time on our administration. There were no crisis in terms of that. Because prior to us coming in, so administration were even undermined because bilaterals at the time, bilateral students had a strength. They had a force. They were enormous. Unlike these days where you have less bilateral students and more non-bilateral students. During our time, bilateral students were powerful. They were enormous. So anything that hindered the campaign, they affect even other students, other leaders that our predecessors, people even from coup to overthrow it because bilateral students say that their money was, their priorities were not being prioritized by the leadership. So when we got there with the experience that we had before coming to the leadership, we ensured that we were very effective in our negotiation skills to ensure that we talk to stakeholders where the month coming to an end, we ensure that we reach out to Liberia, to LACS to get involved, to the legislature at the time we have Representative Pueblo at the time who was the chairman on education. So every time we write an email, we used to be very proactive in responding to our email. We used to be very helpful in showing that the students were getting to initial education. At the time we had Judge one or two were also able to speak to us. We're very cordial in what we do. Negotiation was very effective in ensuring that we actually get the money and also address other issues. Like for instance, we have the peace and reconciliation issue that we have in Beijing. In Beijing, there was a serious issue that we had in Beijing where, my vice president at the time thought that undermining him or not supporting him to be presidential for HBC. He went, he encouraged some other guys to break away from Beijing. So in Beijing to break away from LSUIC was a serious thing on my administration where because of our due to our own negotiation strength, we were able to get in contact with one of our veterans here, Dr. Pony Rawali Dolo. At the time, we asked him to chair our committee on peace and reconciliatory committee, where we empower him as a convoy. He had a convoy that came to Beijing, met with the students, met with the embassy, and showed that everything concerning how to do bringing peace. And because I did not, my problem at that time was that this will affect my legacy if I don't work on that. Because I inherited a union united. I cannot leave the union divided. With the issue that I had at the time in Beijing, I felt I was a serious threat to my own legacy and to the legacy of the union and also our administration. So what I did, I was very proactive and effective in showing that we had the kind of, because we're looking for the kind of person that will come. When the person comes, will be seen as an independent, as a neutral and respected person. So we asked that to do at the time. He has a very huge start. I talked to him. Personally, I talked to him. It's okay, Ali, I will go. Especially as a medical student, at the time he had so many work, he agreed, he consented, he came to Beijing. And we have that issue under control where we left the union united as we inherited. And besides that, we crisis management issue. We the first LSU university to that. I said, at that time, administration, there was a lot of fake scholarship program scheme all over, flying all over Liberia. Even some of our colleagues that were schooling with us over there, they were also involved in looking at outlet. For instance, the city coordinator for Chanchu, and not forget that he's late now. In the city coordinator had a own fake scholarship scheme in Liberia. He recruited other students along with other people when they came to China. It was not an easy thing. When later when the students came, they were stranded. They were not even members of LSUIC. They were not even on the platform. The students, when they saw some Liberians, said, "Oh, well, we have a leadership here. So get the arrangements." And the students got to me. I think I said, "How many?" They said, we want 8. I said, "Wow." So I said, "Okay, I will do everything to ensure that you guys, are safe." He said that because you guys are vulnerable, I explain everything, the danger that they face. Because everyone at the time, their visa expired. They were stranded. They were not even going out. They were just some guys who said in one house. Everybody was there. So what I could do at the time was to engage the embassy, also engage the MOE to see how we can help. The foreign ministry, the embassy, and also the Ministry of Education. So we work 24/7 around the clock with the embassy, especially with the embassy and the foreign ministry. And we work with them. It was, at that time, was the very first time for the embassy to send an emissary from the outside of Beijing. They sent, at the time, the second secretary, I said Musu, she was the second secretary at the time, Musu Masakwe. She came, she and I went, at that time we went to Chanchu, and I forgot about Chanchu, yes. We went over there at my own expense at the time. We have a very challenge. And I was also a bilateral student. So I also had some stamping, bilateral, something, other. So I used my own money to have myself transported. The only thing the embassy provided, looking for us, we went to something over there. We worked along with the local police authority, with the immigration authority, all these guys. They were not deported. We talked with them. We slept to the police headquarters that day. The next morning now, before, the guys, and they took it to the jail. They hold this place that they carried and said, "Okay, since we have agreed to send the guys home without being deported, the only thing, if they say they're waiting for the Chinese government to send them to pay the way, it will take time. But if their parents can send an air ticket, then anytime they send an air ticket, we can allow them to go. But you follow us to carry us to where we place them. We can't allow them to go out, but we place it into a holding area." They took us to the place, a very decent place where they have food. They have access to television, refrigerator, everything. So we went to a sensitive place. We did recording on everything. We left there. Some parents sent the etiquette. We left there. Some carrying them to the airport. Even some are back to the international schooling. I think Chris is in Anhu City, one of the cities in here. There are many. Some of them decided not go back. Some of them went back. They are schooling as we speak in China. In the decision, the most controversial issue during our administration, crisis management issue. Decision to change the venue from Harbin to Xuzhou and to Beijing. As you guys may be aware, that at every conference, it's constituted at every conference, the decision of the next host city is determined through elections at a particular city conference. I don't know what they say happening now. So in Wuhan, we had this election. We voted Harbin to have we voted Harbin to also host a conference in Harbin. To host a conference in Harbin. So we started to host a conference in Harbin. We agree, we voted constitutionally. That's a constitutional requirement. It's on Benin. But again, there was a serious challenge that we had. This particular year, the embassy wrote us asking us, oh, Ali, we read since this embassy, Liberian embassy, been there since 2023, we have never had any independence celebration, but we always attend other countries' independence celebration. But 2018, we want to have independence celebration. And we observe that the students, they are legit living in China. But most of the other people, they may be, most of the other Liberians are, yeah, most of them are legit. They have passport issue, they have visa issue. So they will not be part of this particular program. And we really want you guys, we really want to work with you people to see how we can make the particular program successful. The students' representation, the students' involvement, by the planning, the execution, everything is important. So I gave him I explained our constitution, everything. I tell you the copy of it. Do the embassy have copy? I don't know whether they say have copy of the constitution. You know, they have copy of it. I've referenced to that particular place. I said, okay. He kept asking me, say, Alan, I know it's part of your constitution, but we have to relax it for the sake of our country. Let's look at the bigger picture. So okay, I said, but in the case of Ambassador, please do an official communication to the students' populace. So with this, then now it will seem, you know, it will be weighted and it will be more respected. It will be respectful of the students' decision and other things he did. So did it was not an easy thing. Oh, students say no. So we're able to just be brief. We're able to talk to our police and those who can say have been had a problem. He said, okay, later now. But the condition, we told him that the reason why we don't have our conferences in Beijing these days because the cost in Beijing is expensive. Also, you have less costly as compared to Beijing. So, okay, in the case here, let's do a win-win. We all know from China now, win-win. 50% from the student, 50% from us. So their portion of the 50% was for accommodation in terms of feeding. Were responsible. So the hotel, they were responsible. We said, okay, we agree. But yet, it was not an easy thing. From there, after we went back and forth, we said, okay, in the case here, what we do is let's wait here and do our own sort of from back home, the foreign ministry. So after that, while in waiting time, we're going, that's okay. But in the case here, so what they having, just go ahead and continue. We're not hearing any feedback from the ministry, from the embassy for now. Happy say no, we can't go see it. So the only group that were available now to go see our Xuzhou. Xuzhou agreed, and we went to Xuzhou. But later now, the ambassador got back to us and said, oh, the ministry have approved the budget and everything, so we can come now to Beijing. I said, it's late now. Still, they got on us. And later, it was not an easy thing. We were very resolved where we took a decision, though it was not favorable to our colleagues, but we stood by it because we were looking at the bigger picture for the country, because at the end of the day, as a student in China, we are under the emblem of the government through the embassy over there. So if the embassy says we can be able to convince our police to see reason why we should go to Beijing. But we go to Beijing, it's another story that I think we'll explain from the question and answer period, so I don't want to go into that detail. And also the decision to also ask students to leave hotel at a time was also another issue that we also discussed in the question and answer period. Now, with respect to my personal anecdotes that define my experience as students leader at the time in Beijing, comrades, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, another experience that stands out was organizing the Beijing mini conference in February 2018 and providing financial aid to 9 non-bilateral students on tight financial constraints. On LSUIC, I've never, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think whether LSUIC have hosted a mini conference to the best of my knowledge. We were the first to host a mini conference in Beijing on our university. To host a mini conference in Beijing is not easy thing, especially in February, when we already had an annual conference in July. And you need to raise money. And we don't have any other alternative source of raising money other than dues. And at the time, the way now, the due structure now, under the current LSUIC constitution now, is more effective, it's even more helpful than our at the time. At the time, we only have one. The 120 we pay for, you pay that 120 we pay is responsible to feed you, also responsible to host you at every conference at the time. That's all you need to pay. You pay your one snapshot, you pay it, you last time for your conference. Just pay your way. You can't hotel will be responsible for the student leadership and also feeding everything. So at a time to achieve that was not an easy thing. So we're able to achieve that particular venture, and while at the same time we're able to fulfill our constitutional requirement by hosting an annual conference in July of that same 2018. So we thought that, and to have that, it was not an easy thing. It takes time. There was a night that I stayed up reviewing plans as we are going through intensive research papers. My school study, my own study, my research is a master research. I have to publish. And as a matter of months, I published 2 articles in 2, nonetheless, in 2 impact factor journals, at the same time focusing my dissertation on all the challenges. It was not the easy thing in the lab, going for intern to other countries. So it was not the easy thing going to all these things. So that's one of the issue. So, but what I remember most was not the stress. It was a team that showed up, a team I worked with. We had some challenge on our administration. But one thing that the students, that we did everything as a leader at the time that we never wanted for the students to know that we have some little challenge was one. We manage every crisis in the leadership. The vice presidents, we have problem with the vice president. Our financial secretary was not a professional financial secretary, meant from an engineer background. So during a particular year, we never had any candidate that coming purely from a financial background. So the only person that was available was a candidate who stood up from the engineer background and said they want to be financial secretary. So to have our financial record, it was good for us at that time. Our treasurer was a very good, accountant. So she was very good to help us, and to balance our record. Also, everything that we do, everything that we're doing at the time, she really helped us. How I could to acquire at the time. So nobody could not see the gap in terms of whether our financial secretary or not up to tax and other things. So the team works very good. So these activities succeeded. Not because everything went perfectly, but because we trusted each other enough to adapt. It taught me that leadership is less about having all the answers and more about building a team that can find them together. There were also difficult moments, times when decisions are made were unpopular, of course, colleagues. There was some decision that we made. There will not always be decision that, make some decision that, for instance, to take the conference from Xuzhou to Beijing was unpopular. Our colleagues are serious problem with us. But at the end of the day, I recall one particular decision that sparked strong disagreement among members, specifically teaching the conference venue with the request from the ambassador from Harbin, Xuzhou to Beijing. I had to stand what I believe was right, while still acknowledge the concerns of others. That balance between conviction and humility was one of the hardest lessons I learned in my administration as student leader. It reminded me that being a leader does not always mean being liked, but it does mean being accountable. As a leader, you will not always be liked by other people, but try by all means to be accountable to your people. Perhaps the most meaningful moments, though, were the quiet ones. Conversations after meeting, checking on one members who seemed withdrawn, celebrating small wins that no one else noticed. Personal helps to needed students. Those were the experiences that defined my presidency more than any formal achievement. They reminded me that leadership is deeply human. By the end of my term, I did not just see myself as someone who led an organization. I saw myself as someone who had grown alongside it. LSUIC did not just give me a platform, it gave me a perspective. It taught me that leadership is a continuous process of learning, unlearning, and showing up, even when it is difficult. Comrades, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, having said all of this, now I would like to give my perspective and counsel my vision for the future of LSUIC. In the nearest future, I envisage that LSUIC will be transformational and bold. What do I mean? To become a leading hub. LSUIC will become a leading hub of innovation, integrity, and impact, empowering individuals to shape a smarter, more inclusive future. 2, growth and excellence focused to drive sustainable growth. 2, excellence, as we all are aware, for our motto, collaboration and forward-thinking solutions. 3, community and impact-oriented to inspire progress and uplift communities by fostering knowledge, opportunity, and lasting partnerships. 4, innovation, innovation-centered to lead with innovation, adapt with purpose, and create solutions that redefine tomorrow. Comrades, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as a former president of the Great Student Union in China, let me say thanks for giving me the opportunity to give some highlights of the challenges that we face as leaders, the achievements, lessons learned, and other mechanisms that we use to solve some crises, and how we work with external partners and other things. Let me say thanks for providing the platform. I must appreciate current leadership from the Orlando T of Law and your team of officers for affording me this great opportunity to address our colleagues in the diaspora who are currently studying to come back home to come be meaningful as we are doing today to the growth and development of our country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, President Emeritus, Honorable Alan B. James. That was very, very interesting. And as always, it's a privilege, at least for some of us who was in the round doing some of you term that you serve the union. It's a privilege that we was able to get some of this history of our great union. So thank you for this time. So guys, we can just type in the comment section and appreciating the honorable man for such a wonderful time. So good. Okay. So we have the interactive section, that's the Q&A, and as always, we're gonna do it like this. If you have question, you just raise your hand, and we're gonna recognize you. Then you will be asked to unmute yourself and ask your question. Question, comments. Yep. Okay. I see the hand of the National President, Honorable Olano Diablo. You are welcome, sir.
Yeah, thanks so much, Honorable President Emeritus, Honorable Alan B. Thank you for sharing, and as well as educating and inspiring the current and even the future. So I just want to get a little bit of explanation from you on some of the things that you went through. And the first one is the mini conference. What motivated you to organize the mini conference, especially knowing that we have an annual conference coming up in just a few months? You know, what motivated you to do that, and probably what were you able to achieve doing and even after the mini conference?
Okay, Mr. President, thanks for the question. Actually, my motivation came from the background that during my election, in the campaign period, I was able to crisscross major cities where Liberian students study. And from my personal interactions with students in the cities, majority of many students were non-bilateral students. So when I went as a self-sponsored students, When things became tough on them, their parents back home, they never had any external sponsors, and other things. So for this reason, I saw the dying condition of these students, and I saw the eagerness in it to study. So looking at the situation at the time, I said, trust me, if you guys can give me the opportunity to serve you guys, I will help to intervene in some of the conditions. So indeed, the students believe in me, they given the authority in Wuhan at the time. So when they gave me the authority, I went back. I said, wow, having made this kind of commitment to the students, where do I get money? What can I do? Should I write external partners to send support? I'll try to call 1 or 2 persons. They say, well, students, their responses were very passive. I said, well, what can I do? I said, okay. What I did was I took this to the executive committee, the senior executive, because I have 2 executive committees. The senior executive committee that made of the elected officials, the president, the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, the financial secretary, the campaign. Senior executive committee, I shared the vision with them. I said this was one of the reasons why our colleagues gave me the authority. So we have to achieve, if we can achieve any other thing, we have to achieve the intervening in students' conditions. I travel in the cities, I see students' conditions. So when they are far, we want to move food. It's not an easy thing. So what we did was, what can we do? Can we have, I want to start, I thought I said, okay, the best thing that we do is we have to have a mini conference where we invite some business partners in China and also some veterans and extended partners, the Chinese community, the Liberian community in China, and some Chinese who have interest into Liberia, and also the embassy. And the embassy had to be the lead in this. So what can we do to convince the embassy? So the only thing that we do is there, I suggested, we brainstorm. We were even doubted, this. So what we did, I was able to convince the senior executive. So what can we do here inside? And mind you, I was very clear, say we should do everything I will do to host a mini conference without touching our earnings, the dues, and other things for LSUIC budget. Everything that will be responsible to host this conference, everything should be generated from the mini conference. That's what I said at the benchmark that I said. So from there, I got in contact with the coordinator for Beijing at the time, Sekou Kamara, who was in country, was in China at the time, was back home. So I asked Rose Wea to serve as a chairman. First we discussed it, the body agreed. So it being that when took it to the other executive, where we had the city coordinators, took it to them, and we shared the idea. It was not an easy thing, but later I ended up with a confusion and they agreed. So in the case of, we set up a mini conference committee in Beijing, set it up, other people made Rose as a chairperson at the time. Rose told Rose to lead a team to go and convince the embassy on this particular mini conference. So Rose went along the team, the first group that went, the feedback from the embassy was not good. At that time, I asked the then Vice President Femo to be an ex-officio to that committee, since indeed, he resides and he lives in a particular city there. So, but unfortunately, the feedback that I got is, it was not encouraging, saying the mini conference will not work. So luckily for me again, when the coordinator returned to Beijing, when I shared the idea, we said, President, I think that's not a bad idea. It will also be a boost to my own, like I said, as a city coordinator for Beijing. So he has consented. When he got in contact with Rose, certain point in time, I couldn't get one call. Rose was say she basically was lesson, all the kind of things. But I asked her, Sekou, I beg you, please help me. Talk to Sekou at the time. Sekou said, no problem for you. Sekou was able to involve the embassy, engage the embassy, involve with other stakeholders, and also able to share the idea. But one key thing I did was that, guys, let's try to raise money among ourselves as officials. When they wanted to do the first budget, they brought in around 24,000. So wow, what can we do? Raise 24,000? They can even host our annual conference. Where do we get the money from? And for any reason that is, I will try to host our mini conference to raise money to intervene into the students, into our colleagues that had challenges. That was the main reason why I wanted to also have a mini conference so that we can raise money from there and intervene into the gas I'm talking about. So, and Seco came, but the money was too much. So no, I'm going to reduce the budget. So when we reduce the budget, it came to around 16,500 RMB. I said, okay, and we did it, we said, okay, because dues, the mini conference fees, we did it with around 700. I said, what at this time? So we willing to pay 700. So what we do as a leaders, let's pledge. So we can reduce. So in my capacity, I say, I will take the day. I pay 1,007 and I pay that money. So other people, my secretary, the treasurer, everybody, my first presidency, the only contribution you made at that time. So I don't want to go so quick. So yeah, so say that since he's an artist person, you produce flyers and other things to promote it. So I said, Femo, you are the second person in charge of this union. And hosting this Beijing, the conference in your city will help you. It will enhance the effort to replace us. So there was not an easy thing. Though he did not today, but we were able to convince the police people pay, and which of course at that time we reduced the fees to 350 at a time instead of 700. When the embassy was actively, it was the first, I don't know, to the best of my knowledge, was the first conference here in Beijing where the entire embassy, from the ambassador all the way to the clerk, to the receptionist, attended a particular program. And other people, that will raise some money. So the amount we raised, I think the amount we raised, I forgot, off my head, somewhere around 9,000, somewhere around 13,000, 15,000. But if you divide 1,005 by 9, you get to know the exact figure I'm talking about. So at that particular conference, we were able to raise in cash that amount, somewhere in pledges. So when we raise the amount, at a certain point in time, when the conference was coming, we never just go ahead to give the money. The money coming, because we needed to leave some money in the course of what the next administration. We're also taking all the things. So at the end of the day, we also made a commitment to the students. So what can we do? We had a meeting. I told them, I said the money was raised for this purpose. If we don't give the money to the students, it will affect our legacy. We can find any other means to raise money. Since we didn't touch any money for our coffers to fund as a mini conference, the money that we raise from them, we put it to the students. And we see the money will be for a purpose. Just give it to them. We say, Alan, we don't have sufficient money now, plenty money not in the coffer. Also, go to the annual conference, we give the money to the student, it will affect us. I said, let's give this money. I stood my ground. And that day we had it. I set up a financial aid committee headed by the body at the time. They went, they said, I told them, say 15, just do your vetting. You do your vetting and you ensure that any student, all the students will benefit should be students that are seriously in need. They did their vetting, they brought 15 students. For the 15 students, so we can only serve 9, given the available source, the available resources they have. So they went in streamline, they took 9 students, and that money was transferred directly into the school's account, from into the school's account from LSUIC account of the school's account. So far so good. This was the main motivation behind the annual conference. It is how we hosted the annual conference, the mini conference.
All right, I think that was great, and that information is very helpful for even not just us, but others that would be, looking in that direction as well. Secondly, I want to understand, how was the election before you? I said during your time and when you were leaving, who were you going against, and how was the tension and the process? And when you were turning office over, who was also there, and how was the process?
Okay, thank you so much again for this question. At the time, I went against Dr. Charles Body, and it was a very tough. And all of my both students and everything so done, I always go through challenges. I have never gone to an election where I went on a red ballot. I always go through challenges. At that time, Wuhan, you have Beijing, you have Xuzhou, and Nanjing. These were the cities that had a good numbers of Liberian students. So, and I tried my best during the campaign time to go to all of these cities. And at that time, I was also the Beijing and also for Xuzhou, because my university is based in Beijing, but my research institute is in Xuzhou. So I was between Xuzhou and Beijing. So technically, I was a candidate from Beijing, also a candidate from Hangzhou. So I was able to, and from Hangzhou, I was the only student at the time sitting in Hangzhou. Yeah, Liberian students sitting in Hangzhou at the time, but Beijing had numbers. So from there, guys, I don't know whether that particular collaboration still exists over there. You have the Wuhan and the Shansha collaboration. This guy, the people used to cut the cat election to penetrate that particular culture, that particular foundation. Not an easy thing for me, especially going through, going into election of PhD scholars, just more experience than me, very experienced than me. I must be clear with that. He did a master's in KNAP, both working experience and also research experience and status in China at that time. So at that time, one of my advantages I had to him was what? I relate to students. I was able to travel to cities. I help students. Yeah, I was easier to get to. Students could see themselves in me. I could break myself down in a way that because, mind you, I came from LU. We are Catholic, we're trained. We had a kind of background to relate easily. So, and there was a situation in a way that Wuhan, we're already going to Wuhan. I almost see I was going to Lion Day. So it was not an easy thing. I was even able to infiltrate into Wuhan. But in the case, when we went to Wuhan, I had looking for Hangzhou. Same my vice president looking for Beijing, so I was able to get some numbers for Beijing over there. I was able to build a team. I went to the election with a team. But Charles did not go into the election with a team. One of the advantages I have over you. I was able to build my team. I built my team with a vice president. I built my team with a secretary. I built my team with a financial secretary. The treasurer was not too clear because she's from Wuhan, so she was very, she don't want to be seen as somebody who could against the Wuhan candidate, so she was not too clear. But she was kind of scheming, but honestly, now okay. I mean, what I did, I had so many chat rooms to not feel that, that I'm trying to stay away, but I created so many chat rooms, the other chat room, and make it to a pair that, she part of us, but I was real chat room, she was not there. But she never noticed it, but later I'm supposed to get to know after the election. When we went to Wuhan, trust me, I did not stop there. Around night, I did not sleep. I was going to students, engaging students, taking students out. When because everybody was depending on Charles. Charles' strength would be the debate. But everybody said Charles would be adding on the debate. We went to the debate. Charles was the first to went, Charles was the first and when he gave his deliberation. Charles did. He went with dossier of document. I mounted the podium with a flying sheet. I already memorized everything I would say. I came from a UL background, trained carpet, everything. So I catalog, I was able to convince the students. Yeah, so many ways I convinced the students over there, even the answer and question period, and then I was able to defeat Charles with a very wide margin over there. In Wuhan got fair. The first. So they were not even expecting for me to defeat a Wuhanese in Wuhan. So I defeated Charles over there. But again, after that election, all Charles thought was that, everything was done for him, so he forgot about students and other things. Because of the way the vice president was working with us, I was clear. Actually, for the onset, when I went to Nigeria at the time, I was propagating his own agenda for everybody. I'm going to present, we are famous, obviously, we're doing a famous. But the way famous were conducting things now, you're not actually involving what at times money or other things. Then I went to the guy, I was clear, I said, what I'm doing. I'm not seeing famous continuing our legacy. Let's get back to Charles. And even after the election, when Akim will set up the academic committee. Charles, I appointed Charles to serve on our committee and steer. Charles wholeheartedly accepted that role. Charles helped a lot of students with the thesis. Charles is a scholar. He's very good at that. Charles helped students, a lot of students with the thesis, with the dissertation, with the research papers. That's very effective. So I look at it, Charles is mine. Was my opponent went to the election? I expected him. Sorry, I have the glasses because that's my reading glasses, not for profit. Sorry. Yeah, I saw it's my reading glass. So I said, Charles, who is my opponent in the elections, is supportive of me. Then my first person I expected to succeed me is not supportive. So what can I do? I call Hawa, the treasurer of David. I say, Hawa, call Charles. Tell Charles he get my support. Because Charles, when I Charles, because he runs especially I went against him and I beat him. So we won again, you'll be defeated over influence. So I said, call Charles, tell Charles, I will support him. Call Charles. He told Charles, I was skeptical. I said, Charles, trust me. I will support you, you win. I will support you. It was based on this now. When famous saw that, he saw that I was not supporting him now, he began to honor man the union in Beijing. Yeah. So because he had his own relationship with the embassy that committed themselves to pay the student to pay 50% accommodation of the program in Beijing. Even invited us in Beijing. We went there at that conference in Beijing. Femo went all the way in the outskirts of Beijing and got some kind of hotel over there. The hotel was very expensive. Even the mini conference that we had the hotel in the heart of Beijing, in Hadi, we pay around 250, 240 RMB at that time per room. That place that's going on. Actually, hotel way at the outskirts. So I paid 270, 350, and that was the first time ever in LSUIC history to pay that amount for hotel. We pay at that time. We was trying the little money that we raised, because the agreement between the embassy and I was that they will be responsible for the accommodation, who will be responsible for feeding. When now they couldn't live up to their own promise. So what can I do? It was a tough thing. I say the only thing now is that even when the guy who was the chairman for the conference, what they're facing, what to do, for 5 students in one room, because the only will be able to pay. Looking at the cost around 350 per room, 370, you can't do that. Most of the rooms that we've been going to the previous conferences that we attended, somewhere around $100 in the 120, but this conference is 380 per room. So later when I went to students said they can't go, they can be 4 or 5 in one room. I said, okay, we should be willing to bear the consequences. We don't have that cash. I have to leave some money in the covers for the next administration. At least to get something to start with. At that time, we went at the conference over there. I even gave my personal contribution. I said, Charles, you have problem because you are in Xuzhou. But because of when the embassy came in, Charles thought that the world was taking it from Xuzhou where he had a good base. And I was also like playing double standard game. And he never knew that. But because of the embassy, I said, Charles, to trust what I'm saying, you got my support. I'm not somebody who is a coward. If I give you my word, I give you my word. I will give you 1,000 RMB as my contribution towards the transportation of the gas from Xuzhou to Beijing. All the guys will come with issue. Even besides that, we'll call other people to contribute. Other people contribute in Charles. All Charles working in Beijing. But at the time we came in Beijing, we were in the area. And the program the way I planned it, because normally Beijing, normally LSUIC program I always been for 2 days or 3 days maximum. So not 2 days, the third is a departure. Or 1 day, the second is a departure. For this one, I said, let me give 4 days. Because the embassy promised to be responsible for accommodation and for that number of days. But unfortunately now, the embassy went 3rd day now, calling the embassy, even at the time we're in Beijing, because FEMA observed that we're not 100% supporting him, and he was aware. He was living with some of the ambassador house for the reason. Nobody from the embassy appeared. You guys in the security at the hotel, the king, they barricaded my room. The king said that the president ordered. The little money we have to pay, he could not pay for the entire hotel bills. It was a tough thing on my part. Now, even sacrifice, okay, since in the case here, since Musu, which is the second thing I said, no happen, credit the union 1,000, the money the embassy promised to give us the passport pay, then they withdraw your money. Since Musu trusted me and gave me that money. And we pay for the hotel. And other students pay that time. I told them, no happen. They will stay the 4th sale that the 3rd day here, they better will just leave the hotel. Any attempt to stay here, the next day, the 4th day, any money incurred, I don't get that kind of money there. The SU were free. I say SU part the information in the time we say everybody because of this. You get a situation in which I explain take the position. And the SU passes. So that was as a leader, I have never experienced any tension, anything like that. At the end of the day, the conference was held successful, where it was the first time in LSUIC history to have an all non-bilateral leadership that brought in Charles Bory. I brought in Charles Bory and Yama as the vice chair, even to build our team, Charles' team. I want to convince Yama. Yama never want to go with Charles. Yama want to go to Femo. I convinced Yama to run with Charles at the time as vice presidential running because German people were very good and huge for the constituent at that time in Xuzhou. She had a very vast influence also. So it was a good she had a very good working relationship. And that is so good as CBC, you know, that she went with Charles at the time. And this was the situation in particular. I left because we succeeded with Charles. Thank you, President. I hope I answer in the first question.
Yeah, that was well detailed and very informative as well. I still have other questions, but I'm seeing the hand of Beijing coordinator, Honorable Thompson. Your hand is raised. I don't know if you have a question. If not, then I can continue with my questions.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Honorable President, and thanks a lot to our, I can say Honorable President too, because our president is always a president. Yeah. So yeah, thanks a lot. Though I joined a little bit late, but I think I've covered a lot of your, sometimes it's so nice when you just things that happen before you just play in your bag, you can stop, just keep going. Yeah. So, but during your explanation, something, draw my attention. And I just wanted to, provide, for me to get more clarity on it. Yeah. By way of introduction, I think you stay in Beijing before. So, yeah, I'm the current president of Beijing. So, you talk about the past conference where that issue was here, and I had a conversation with the ambassador, and he mentioned those things, and it didn't set a good image for the Liberian community. Yeah, because at that time he mentioned like there was a conference held in Beijing, and student got stuck, and they have to call the embassy, and they said that their president stole the money. The president took the money away, so they got stuck, and we have to come in to help. I think he mentioned that. Always he talk, he mentioned that. So today you mentioned it. So I like, okay, let me ask on this to get better. At least I'll have the opportunity to hear from your side, because always I've been hearing from your side. Yeah. Yeah, and in your statement, you said that the embassy agreed, So my question is, they agree, but the there was any money transfer before the hotel book, or on what ground you booked the hotel when they agree, but they didn't transfer money. So why did you which assurance you had to just get the hotel?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Coordinator. I appreciate that question. And it's so good that you ask this question so that we be able to provide the necessary clarity and information. You see, at times, some of the disadvantages when it comes to student visa and also the embassy. And you see, the embassy is looking at a lot. As a student leader, if you fall on them, you're a boss. And if they fall on you, you're a boss. And this was a very challenge for me as a leader at the time, serving as president for the student union in China. You see, I don't want you to go into the detailed political intricacy and other things. You see what happens with this experience for me, I will always advise federal incoming students leader in China. If you're working with the embassy, I don't know, except now, because I will not ambassador Dure Makinde Thomas is still over there.
Yeah,
Is
he's still
there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So you see the problem? The issue about the commitment, the ambassador made a commitment to the students. Even other investors that came and made a commitment, they said they were going to pay our money to the embassy. We did not get that money to the embassy. Besides the commitment they made for the embassy, we did not get that money to the embassy. Even you should even Google 2017 the newspaper, the commitment they made to the student body. It's so good. These records are there in Google, from Africa, everything. The commitment the embassy made to the students, people, besides the commitment they made to take care of the hotel. These are the commitment. The commitment they made are on record today. They did not live up to that commitment, for God's sake. If let's take everything constant, where you as the ambassador of a country in China, of Liberia in China, your students are stranded. You heard it. Did they send anybody to the hotel? They never. They never. Your citizens were stranded at the hotel. The only person that could answer our call was just Musu. I must respect her for that. And she was very busy at the time, because she was catering for the program that she had had, program she had taken place to Marriott Hotel, around the embassy there. She was very busy. For every time I call her, she used to answer. I call the ambassador used to every time answer me. Anytime call me, he can't answer. I call the chancellor, he can't answer. Nobody can answer. The only person that needs to answer. Students are stranded. I said, "Sis Musu, the commitment the embassy made to us, the embassy is not living up to that commitment. The embassy promised us that they were responsible for the guests. And before we could come, the students who did initial deposit, because obviously now before before you get into any hotel or whether you got to make initial deposit. The initial deposit was made by the students. It was made to the organizing committee chair at the time, Eric Nono. He was the chairman. He made initial deposit on behalf of the union because he was the chairman. Everything, because as a president, obviously I can't run finance issue during that time. The chairman responsible, the conference committee responsible. I don't know what I say. The chairman committee responsible of every finance from order. They're responsible to expend, and they're responsible to collect. They work along with the financial team. They did the initial deposit. The only money that I made a commitment because after the arrangement went down, before saying but Ali in the case here, say the initial deposit over there, it's small, it can be because the money that we have, we should use it for feeding for the students. And they're supposed to be responsible for accommodation. Now we're using the legal resources that we have to spend it both on the students, the feeding, the accommodation, and the same time trying to leave some money in the coffer for the next administration. The embassy never show up, both in person and to the financial, to the commitment they made. You can Google that now on Google, the commitment they made at the mini conference. That commitment. Look, that particular day, that program I was here at the Marriott Hotel, I felt betrayed by Ambassador Jude. When I came back to Liberia, I want to go radical with him. People advised me, just return. You need to hustle to get a job to sort of take care of your family. But I left it because the other extended advice and other people advised me, other things. I want to engage the media, to wage serious media war on him, so that people can know the kind of person he is in China or there as an ambassador. Let's assume that you have students, you have all the classes, you were called upon as an ambassador, asking whether at that time the classes at the hotel, did any representative from the embassy went? We said, did anybody from the embassy go there, rather, at the scene to the guest house to see what going on with the citizens as their responsibility, their core responsibility to seek the interest of the citizens in China? They never went. I alone go in with that situation, with that crisis. That today are helping as part of my crisis management. The embassy never went to help us. They never even went to that scene to listen to what we're obtaining. He never went. They left us. Even media people call us from Liberia to see how we can flag that to the media after. I was so much stress. Students issue. Accommodation, I got to take a lot of students on my campus to lodge in my dormitory. With the 10 students, I lodged, I said, everybody sleep here. Because my university, at that time, I graduated already, so I was the only person in my room, so my other roommate left. So I was the only person there. And I talked to my school administration, see, there are other country people who are given the situation to let the people come together. In my dormitory, the embassy is there to interview. They never came when the classes were going on, and the teacher which should be the responsibility. The citizens are stranded. Police adequate, you see some Chinese guy coming, they intimidate, they say you don't give them money, they will not go, you don't pay our money, you will not go. What should be the rules of embassy? They never appeared, they never came. We managed to handle as a student. They never gave that money to us. We cannot able to manage our classes for them. So how can they come? It's just unfair. So could you ask the question there? I don't want to go too raw on him there. We got to be professional. I'm making we're not going too raw on him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So anyone I see him,
Okay,
trust me,
thanks.
I will actually, tell him about how he led the laboratory, not representing the laboratory interest in China, because it's not a problem for us in overstay. It should even be changed from that place.
All right. Okay.
Honorable, can
Yeah,
I come
Nasa, you still
in
have
again?
Honorable Nasa?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just give me a minute. Let's get in the city president of Xinjiang,
Okay,
Honorable Castle. Then we'll get back to you shortly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable President, for the recognition as well as giving me the floor. Earlier, let me say hello to our former president, Honorable Ali, if I may guess your name right. From your concluding statement, I overheard that you actually went ahead and appointed your financial secretary, someone who is from an engineering background and do not have the maybe experience of advanced knowledge as it relates to finance. So I would like to know what led to you to that decision, and also after you undertook that decision during the course of your administration, how was his or her performance as it relates to handling the union finance? Thank you.
Okay. So why you chose an engineering student and how was the performance of that?
Castle, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, come Castle probably did not get me, when it comes to the senior executive members, is not in the purview of the president to appoint. He did not get me credit. I said, we have a financial SG on our team from an engineering background, and he was not from the finance background. He was elected at a conference. It was not me. I didn't appoint him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only person that I appointed was a Champlain, because we never had Champlain in the race. So I was empowered by the Constitution to do that appointment, which was one of reverend for Nigeria at the time of the graduate for Nigeria. But the financial SG, he went unopposed. He went into the election unopposed.
Oh, okay.
On what ballot? Yeah, I did not appoint him. So I said that because of his own limitation for not coming from that background, it was a challenge that we have in our leadership. But it was not that broad, because we had able financial, we had able treasurer who also from a very solid financial background that were able to work, it will multitask, both as treasurer and also as financial secretary.
Okay. Thank you so much for the clarity. And also let me say thanks to Honorable President Bloh for giving me the floor as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Castle. Honorable Nasa, let's hear from you.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot, Honorable President. Yeah, okay. To our guests, this is so interesting, because I'm in Beijing and I'm always engaging the ambassador, like for him to at least push the students' interest in China. Recently, I think like 3 days ago, I had a meeting with the counselor for they call her student attaché, the counselor responsible. It's the same post Mamus were running. Yeah, now she's being replaced by another person there. So because that office is the direct coordination with the the student community. Yeah, so most of our activities we channel it through that office and then gets through to the ambassador. So with all the challenges you had, and it was very bad in a sense that people have to, come in. The ambassador he keep measuring that thing. So really, I like what was really happening. He explained. I have to say he didn't know anything. It just abruptly just show up like, oh, we got students stuck in the hotel and the embassy doesn't know anything about it. So my question is, were you directly coordinating with office in the embassy, or you were just on phone with the ambassador and making, let's say, having conversation and making like promises that wasn't documented and whatever? Which office are you working with directly in that planning? Because you coming in Beijing, you're supposed to have a proper coordination with the embassy. Like before you arrive, at least the embassy should be able to book the hotel and everything. You people shouldn't book the hotel because it was a commitment. So I think they should be able to do it first before you guys arrive in Beijing. So I don't know how was yeah. So you can just elaborate on that side or better explain it so we can understand.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with the booking of the hotel, it was done by FEMO. And FEMO, he been in Beijing at the time, were closely, let's say, can I say living? Yeah, staff of the embassy, Mobile team, Mobile Johnson at the time. Yeah, Mobile Johnson, I don't know if you stay there or not. I think it should be the second, the first secretary or something like that. Yeah, I think it was the first secretary at the time. So
Mobile Pop, he's a black Kawa, right? What's his name? Kawa Mobile?
Yeah. I need a car mobile. Yeah, I need a black. So
He booked the hotel for you guys.
no, not him. Femo was living to a house.
Okay.
Yeah, Femo was living to a house. Femo worked along with the conference committee
Okay.
to book the hotel. And the commitment from the embassy, as I said, just read that Front Page Africa story that carry activities from the mini conference. Because the amount raised from the mini conference, especially the one from the embassy, was in pledges. Like for instance, you have the late Preston. Dr. Preston, sorry, my last name, I think Dr. Preston Adar. Yeah, Dr. Preston, we said he gave 6,000 RMB. And Sekou, two other partners that we had, Sekou went to other tennis friends and other things in the king. They raised the money that were able, to sell. Even other students that attended the conference, the contribution that for me, my own contribution I made towards the cash donation I would be, were able to raise that money. But every commitment that was made by the embassy was made in pledges. They were made in pledges along with other business executives that the ambassador carried, the embassy carried the other program. So even the amount that the embassy promised to give, the commitment they made at that program, people will give their money at this time. That money was not given. Besides, the hotel that was engaged in Beijing, it was engaged by the conference committee and FEMO. FEMO, as a vice president, was an ex-official on a conference committee. And this was done in line with the embassy commitment that yes, will be responsible. After the hotel was made, we went to the embassy. Ambassador was basically, because at that time, we had the July 26th program on it. So he said everything was passing over to Sis Musu. So what the Sis Musu now were working with. So we said, Sis Musu, we're trying to go, we need that money for the embassy to go do initial deposit because we can't go get a hotel without giving initial deposit. Students are coming. So Sis Musu said, okay, I will go to the ambassador, tell the ambassador. When Sis Musu went to the ambassador said, they don't have money now because the amount, even the money set from Liberia, so to go for that July 26 program had not come yet. At time Barclay was the I think second by the finance person order. So we talk, I said, Musu, what can we do? Because the only money we get the money, we using it for food as we made it, as we agree on. So says Musu said, what we do is that I will give you people the money, but you people will be responsible. If the embassy give you money, you'll give me 1,000 back. So where says Musu give 1,000 US. It was US running RMB at the time. She gave it to Eric Nudo, who was at the time the chairman for the conference in Beijing. We gave it to Eric. Eric deposited that money immediately into gave the money to the hotel. It was based on that now before students started going into the hotel. So even the embassy refused to give Says Musu money. Says Musu said, "Oh, that ambassador, the way the embassy agreed to give my money back. How can it will not give? Because if you say the embassy not made a commitment, I'm not going to give the money to the students. But why you not give me our money?" So I said, "Well, Says Musu, and that one you got to get to your own boss now. He's the one to get the money because you are not made a commitment. You make that commitment to you too. I said, you get that initial money, we'll get the other money later, and we're not going to, you're not going to get other money."
So okay.
This was the problem. So that particular commitment was not implemented, was not done by that Ambassador McKinley. He disappointed us. He let us down. And at the time, everything came up to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the commitment, like how much was it, and how much was the total bill for the hotel? Because you said 1,000 was given, so that 1,000 couldn't cover the total stay at the hostel at that time.
You are muted, Honorable James. You are muted.
Yeah, okay. The hotel at that time was around 370 per room. And besides that, beside the hotel around 370 per room, the Beijing conference was a conference that had a higher attendance of students ever. I don't know up to now. We have more than 250 students at our conference in Beijing. So we had two different hotels. The other hotel were around 420, the other one was 370. Just do the calculation. You see how much for one room. And the students at that time, I said, because of the condition, let 4 or 5% be one room. They said they couldn't do it. The embassy will get the money. So let 2% be one room. Just imagine that number of students divided by the number of rooms. Just a 2% per room.
So okay. So I think,
but after we that initial deposit now, after we that initial deposit, the remaining money now we expected them to pay. They did not pay. As he said, now how the student left the hotel? If the team were not going to be sacrificed to give that money, the Chinese people are going to allow some of us to leave. No, the embassy never gave any money. We paid the student leadership at that time with the other students that were fair for us. We rather run ourselves with our own money. I never keep even my own money. People send money for me from abroad to add it to even pay. The embassy never intervened. That the McKinney, Ambassador McKinney let us down.
Okay.
Yes.
So was there any prior budget before the conference? Was there any budget like?
Yes, and we had a budget. I can't speak to it now because I don't have, we had a budget.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I think we can stop there because of time.
Yeah. I can speak to it now. We have, of course, every company had a budget now. And the budget is already prepared by the committee. The committee submit it, to the executive rules carried to the general people. They agree before they approve that budget before any disbursement of the disbursement.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable James. So the last question for the night, I want to understand the leadership before you. Like, how was it like? Was it tension, or what was the progress being made? Because I'm sure that was the leadership that motivated you to contest. So how was the leadership then at the time? You are muted. Okay.
Okay. My predecessor, Comrade Boba Bozi, at that time, he said, and one of the things that Comrade Boba Bozi that he advised me on, he always told me, even all of my predecessors say the embassy have not been supportive of all of the students. Because most of the time they call them into activities, they will not come. When they called them, they would not come. Students leaders before me, my predecessors complained. And though they decided to work within the ambient of the students, since the embassy was not supportive. And at that time, I served as a city coordinator for Hangzhou. We were able to mobile, at the time, we worked together, and the union was okay. As I said, I inherited the union, united at that time because of that crisis in Beijing. There were even people from the embassy took side. You can even ask Dr. Duro. I think most of you guys may have access to Dr. Duro. Ask him. Dr. Duro went to Beijing to talk to the guys. The guys were supported by the embassy because they felt their interest was female. And their interest in the see me as an, as a problem to the interest of female to not win. And I was clear on them. And so many things are interpreted with each other because of time. I couldn't explain the political intricacy. If the embassy, that's what I said, even if they say that your citizen killed in China, you not go you not go there. You can go there as an embassy. We all here. When they say American citizens are being arrested for this, for that, regardless of the crime the citizen commit, the American embassy will not show up for that citizen. It is what the justification as an ambassador. Your citizen got stranded. You never appear to that place. You never say anybody over there. So the city, my predecessors were telling me, say, the embassy, see, the big mistake you made was to honor that embassy request to carry the program to imagine if it deposited money to hotel already 2,000 RMB to a hotel in Xuzhou already. We already spent some money. A little resources we have. We always did some deposit for the hotel that was going to use in Xuzhou. Then later he came back begging me. Say, Ali, if you do that, like, will be machine. Only you guys are depending on to make the program successful. Only you guys. The other library committee are not good. They don't have legitimate documents, so they'll be afraid to come. When we have security, they will be afraid to come there. So I beg you. That night, it was a tough decision to convince my colleagues again that let's move from Xuzhou to go to Beijing. With all of this, he kind of say, oh, student did that. So what he did as an ambassador, say student did that. When the student was trying to let people to jail, what he did, what the embassy did, the American citizens, the American government, or other people ever did, what he did, you left your citizens down, they were in harm's way. And at the end of the day, you can't say, oh, student this money, student this money. What would the embassy play to rescue the students? What would they play? To come sit at the back to talk things that they didn't want to do. There's so many things interplay. But I just advise that in Beijing, just because, just be cautious as how you work with the embassy and other things. Don't be too overly expecting that, oh yeah, because other things. I can't lie to you, that McKinney had a own way of being, that kind of sugarcoated saying. It's an actual ambassador, but I know how you manipulate other things. I know what I'm talking about. Self in the position of today. I know what I'm talking about. But as it relates to my
James, thank you.
It was very good, and things went well, and power was turned over to me, successful. There were some challenges, but on the overall, it was good.
All right, thank you so much. Our National Deputy Secretary General, you can take over so that we get our remarks for the day.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to our guest speaker, President Emeritus Honorable Alan B. James. Thank you so much for showing up for this program. So we're almost out of time. So we will move to remarks from the audience, the NEC, or the guest speaker for tonight. So, Mr. President, I think we'll just move to the remarks from NEC.
Okay. Honorable MVP.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so it was a long ride, but as we say, every good thing has an end. So let me firstly say thank you to the President Emeritus Alan B for the presentations and for the clarity that were made. We value your service to LSUIC as we believe our service to man is service to God. Thanks for your time service. And I know even though you guys are not here in China, but your arms are always open. Once LSUIC reached out, you are always ready to provide your support, however ways it means possible. So I want to say thank you to you. And also thanks to the student body as well, for those of you who grace the series, because this is actually a great time of learning about the past. Because during your time of leadership, some of us we were really active in LSUIC. I don't even know what at that time I was in China, but even if I wasn't in China. Yeah, I was still back there in AMU doing my beauty things. All right, but anyways, at least it's because of series like this we get to understand what happened or what transpired during your tenure or during your physical year that you served at LSUIC. So thanks to the student body and also thanks to the NEC, because these kind of events it's not just organized just for us to learn, but it passed but for all to be able to learn from those mistakes or those challenges and be able to do better. Because we always want the next stage to be better than the previous ones. So it's from that backdrop that we thought to organize this series, which will also be very helpful to upcoming leaders because the videos and the manuals, the manuscripts will always be available on the union's YouTube channel and our WeChat channels as well, all the social media platforms. So thanks, and until the next series, have a blessed night. Stay safe and remain blessed. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, our National Vice President. And we will take a parting statement from our guest speaker, and then we'll call this a day.
Okay,
President
again,
Emeritus.
yes, Mr. President, and I'm Vice President SG, executive members of LWRC, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Again, I must appreciate you guys. On a serious note, one of the main reasons why I honor this invite because I also think that our legacy was at stake with some of the information have been spewed by the ambassador to some activists who didn't know the actual happening. So we thought this was a platform, this was an opportunity for us to come, and provide the kind of clarity and provide the kind of information and also advance, and also learn from our own experience how to handle such issues. And I keep saying this, always play on the order of my great achievement I made as a capacity as a president. That particular moment affected my legacy because I listened to the ambassador. If I had listened to my colleagues to refuse to host that conference in Beijing, we would never experience this. Truly. And this, it will all be part of my memory when it comes to leadership. And the time, the strategies are deployed to solve that crisis. But people do not get hurt, people will not put in jail, people will not arrested. Besides my own professional, my own personal involvement to handle it, God, it takes God. Because for citizens in different lands, you've been abandoned by your parents, the embassies, left on your own. Everybody looking up to you for decision, for direction. I have not been God. I never our enemy. It was a tough thing to make that decision. I'm thankful to God that we were able to drive forward the challenges. Though it was not an easy thing, but we're thankful to God. It's part of our own experience, our lesson learned. These are helpful these are shaped our decisions and help us a lot in our own professional. So join in hearing challenges, pressure, and other things. Even your chaplain over there is one of my colleagues that are supervising in Liberian School. We in our work together are supervising here. There are two over there to internet that are supervising. So when I saw him on your team, I said yes. He's one of my trusted, hardworking, skilled, colleagues that I work with that are supervised. That type of some more experience in work with me, you know who I am. So let me say thanks to the current leadership for creating a platform that can also come. We'll keep, we'll always be available in case of anything you guys need for in the fundraising business like with us. We'll see how we can make some minimal contribution towards the future endeavors in terms of any program, other things to do. We'll do that in terms of, the annual conference, other things will help. Let me say thank you. I most appreciate you guys for organizing it. Say, salute you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, scholars, thank you so much for joining. That's how we come to the end of the 10th edition of the Legacy Hour. So probably in the fourth quarter, we'll get to hear from presidents from 2016 to 2006. So we'll take it up from there. But thank you all so much. May God bless us as we go about our normal businesses. And let's ensure that we end this third quarter. We have 1 week to go. We end it on a high note and also end the entire leadership on a high note. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.